Previously on World History and Geography.
The Eastern Roman Empire, with its capital, Constantinople, became the Byzantine Empire after the fall of Rome. The Byzantine Empire peaked with Emperor Justinian in the 6th century CE, and then declined for the next 900 years. To the east, the Seljuk Turks were taken out by Genghis Khan and the Mongols, eventually allowing another group of Turks to create an empire out of Anatolia, the Ottomans. No, not an upholstered footstool Ottoman. The Ottomans.
And now, our feature presentation.
The Ottomans were descendants of militaristic nomadic Turks on Anatolia, who saw themselves as Ghazis, or warriors for Islam. The most successful Ghazi was Osman. People in the West called him Othman, and named his followers the Ottomans.
Ottoman.
Osman built a small Muslim state in Anatolia between 1300 and 1326 CE. His successors expanded the empire by buying land, forming alliances, and by conquest.
The Ottoman Empire.
I could get used to this. You know what? This is what I want our empire to be about.
Okay, no more Ottoman jokes. The Ottomans' military success was largely based on the use of gunpowder. They replaced their archers on horseback with musket-carrying foot soldiers, and were among the first people to use cannons as weapons of attack. Even heavily walled cities were no match for an all-out attack by the Turks. The second Ottoman leader, Orkhan I, was Osman's son. He felt strong enough to declare himself Sultan, meaning overlord, or one with power. The Sultan of the Ottoman Empire must have had plenty of places to put his feet up. Wait, I said no more Ottoman jokes.
Ottoman Empire.
The rise of the Ottoman Empire was briefly interrupted in the early 1400s by a rebellious warrior and conqueror from Samarkand in Central Asia. Permanently injured by an arrow in the leg, he was called Timur-Lang, or Timur the Lame. Europeans called him Tamerlane. Tamerlane crushed the Ottoman forces at the Battle of Ankara in 1402 CE. This defeat halted the expansion of the Ottoman Empire. Soon Timur turned his attention to China. When he did, war broke out among the four sons of the Ottoman Sultan. Mehmed I defeated his brother and took the throne. His son, Murad II, was the first of four powerful sultans who led the expansion of the Ottoman Empire through 1566 CE. Murad's son, Mehmed II, achieved the most dramatic feat in Ottoman history. By the time Mehmed took power in 1451, the ancient city of Constantinople had shrunk from a population of 1 million to a mere 50,000 people. Although it controlled no territory outside its walls, it still dominated trade throughout the Bosphorus Strait. Constantinople was located at the crossroads of Asia and Europe. In fact, Tiger Woods hit a golf ball from Asia to Europe there. Constantinople controlled the waterway and could choke off traffic between the Ottoman territories in Asia and in Europe. After taking power as a 21-year-old, Mehmed II demanded, "Give me Constantinople!" except not in English. In 1453 CE, he launched his attack. Constantinople's defenses were legendary. The city was located on a peninsula, so the city was naturally protected by water on three sides. A 1,500-foot-long chain could be extended to the Golden Horn between the Bosphorus Strait and the Sea of Marmara to keep an enemy's navy out of the city's harbor. "Now that's a chain, fool!" Thank you, Mr. T. A 60-foot-wide moat protected the west side of the city, along with a set of 3 walls encircling the whole city, with the inner wall thick enough for 4 soldiers to march side by side to wherever they were needed. Mehmed's Turkish forces began firing on the city walls with mighty cannons. That's gotta hurt. One of these was a 26-foot gun that fired 1,200-pound boulders. That's big. To avoid the chain, one night Mehmed's army tried a daring tactic. They dragged 70 ships over a hill on greased runners from the Bosphorus to the harbor. Now Mehmed's army was attacking Constantinople from 2 sides. The city siege went on for over 7 weeks, but the Turks finally found a break in the wall and entered the city. After 1,000 years, the Byzantine Empire was now over. Hey, did you know that although Constantinople was often referred to as Istanbul locally, the name of the city wasn't officially changed to Istanbul until the 20th century? Now you know. Mehmed the Conqueror, as he was now called, proved to be an able ruler as well as a magnificent warrior. He opened Constantinople to new citizens of many religions and backgrounds. Jews, Christians, and Muslims, Turks and non-Turks all flowed in. They helped rebuild the great city. Mehmed's grandson, Selim the Grim, came to power in 1512 CE. He defeated the Safavids of Persia, then he swept south through Syria and Palestine and into Arabia and North Africa. Finally, he took Cairo, the intellectual center of the Muslim world. The Ottoman Empire didn't reach its peak size and grandeur until the reign of Selim's son, Suleiman I. Suleiman came to the throne in 1520 and ruled for 46 years. His own people called him Suleiman the Lawgiver. He was known in the West, though, as Suleiman the Magnificent. Suleiman conquered the Eastern European city of Belgrade in 1521 and dominated the whole eastern Mediterranean. Although the Ottomans occupied only the coastal cities of North Africa, they managed to control trade routes to the interior of the continent. In 1526 CE, Suleiman advanced into Hungary and Austria, throwing Central Europe into a panic. Suleiman's army then pushed to the outskirts of Vienna, Austria. Reigning from Istanbul, Suleiman had waged war with Central Europeans, North Africans, and Central Asians. He'd become the most powerful monarch on earth. The massive empire required an efficient government structure and social organization. Suleiman created a law code to handle both criminal and civil actions. He also simplified and limited taxes and systematized and reduced government bureaucracy. These changes helped improve the lives of most citizens and helped earn Suleiman the title of lawgiver. The Sultan's 20,000 personal slaves staffed the palace bureaucracy. The slaves were acquired as part of a policy called devshirme, where the Sultan's army drafted boys from the peoples of conquered Christian territories. The army educated them, converted them to Islam, and trained them as soldiers. An elite force of 30,000 soldiers known as janissaries
or Janissaries
was trained to be loyal to the Sultan only. Their superb discipline made them the heart of the Ottoman war machine. In accordance with Islamic law, the Ottomans granted freedom of worship to other religious communities, particularly to Christians and Jews, which kept conflict among people of the various religions to a minimum. Suleiman found time to study poetry, history, geography, astronomy, mathematics, and architecture. He employed one of the world's finest architects, Sinan, who designed the Mosque of Suleiman. Art and literature also flourished under Suleiman's rule. This creative period was similar to the European Renaissance. Painters and poets looked to Persia and Arabia for models, blending these cultures. Despite Suleiman's magnificent social and cultural achievements, the Ottoman Empire began to shrink. Suleiman killed his ablest son and drove another son into exile. His third son, the incompetent Selim II, inherited the throne. Suleiman set the pattern for later sultans to gain and hold power. It became customary for each new sultan to have his brothers strangled. The sultan would then keep his sons prisoner in the harem, where it was forbidden for outsiders to enter, cutting them off from education or contact with the world. This practice produced a long line of weak sultans who eventually brought ruin on the empire. However, the Ottoman Empire continued to influence the world into the early 20th century.
I did this thing on the Ottoman Empire. Like, what was this, a whole empire based on putting your feet up?
Okay, that's it. I said no more jokes.
You know what? This is what I want our empire to be about.